There have been numerous cringy trailers to kick off 2025, okay? I don't know if you guys caught this recently, but the Happy Gilmore trailer, holy Christ, man. Like, Happy Gilmore 1 from the, mid 90s, whenever that came out, that is one of my favorite comedies, right? Like, when Adam Sandler was cooking, I don't think there was anybody hotter. And the comedies from the 90s, man, like, that's obviously, I think that's probably when Hollywood peaked when it comes to comedies, but that's another topic for another time. But yeah, Happy Gilmore 2, the fact that it comes out in July and that trailer was just so underwhelming, I don't even know what to say other than I don't want it, I'm not going to watch it, and everybody's going to forget it the moment that it releases. That weekend it might do a couple of numbers, but then after that it's just going to be gone, and everybody's going to remember the one good Happy Gilmore film, and maybe a few people will go, oh right, yeah, there was that other one that I don't remember anything about it. But speaking of the most cringy trailers that are out there, that Minecraft movie one, oh boy, when you had fat old Jack Black not even worrying about a hairbrush or even shaving his stupid beard. I am Steve. Womp, womp, womp. That had to have taken the cake, and everybody memed on that trailer. It was ratioed to hell and back hell. You might as well have put a Snow White stinger at the front of that for how poorly it was received. But now that we're drawing closer to this film's ultimate release, which I thought was supposed to be on April Fool's Day, that would have been apropos, but it is in fact that weekend, and now we are starting to get some projections. And for a film that was, tapped by some people because Minecraft, as an IP, as a game, is so wildly popular, the biggest indie game of all time, and in fact, I think it's the best-selling game, full stop, of all time, you would think that that would be the fast track to $1 billion, right? Well, you take a look at that opening weekend, and not great. And the outlook for the Minecraft movie is looking promising. I beg your pardon, the kid-friendly movie adaptation of the popular video game is tracking to open at $58 million or thereabouts in its North American debut over April 4th through 6th weekend, according to sources with access to data from the National Research Group. That's good news for Warner Brothers co-chiefs Mike DeLuca and Pam Abby, who have come under the microscope after the studio suffered a series of misses at the box office. Yep, and they are definitely hoping you do not remember any of those hangups you had with superhero films, because they are banking heavily on Superman coming out later this year, which I think will do better than the Minecraft movie, but who knows? Okay, they inherited many of those picks in various stages, yes, of development, but Minecraft is the first movie they made from start to finish, with upcoming, yes, a Ryan Coogler vampire film, or movie film, whatever, Sinners. Hollywood has a long wanted to make a Minecraft film, yeah, and even this one faced multiple delays due to the pandemic and subsequent labor strikes. Yeah, whatever, man. Warner Brothers partnered with Legendary on the PG-rated pick and put up most of the financing for the fantasy adventure. The pick's budget is reported to be around $150 million before marketing. So yeah, this thing is going to, once again, if we can take the $150 million, as CGI heavy as it is, but didn't really hear too much about reshoots. Hell, didn't even really hear too much about the production. It seemed to be reasonably smooth from the time that the film was announced to the first time we seen that god-awful trailer. Things seem to be moving around, pretty well. So yeah, maybe that $150 million is accurate, but the way that they're going to be pushing this, I mean, they're going to need a significant chunk of change if they're going to be trying to run that back in a $53 million, $55 million opening. That's not really going to end up hitting in the long term, okay? You're going to need quite a big return overseas, which of course is very likely because Minecraft's appeal is in fact global. It speaks to a wider problem, okay? According to tracking data, a Minecraft movie is drawing keen interest among teenage boys and girls, and also doing well with young adults. Because yeah, your average Minecraft player, I think the last time that we talked about this, when the trailer came out, it's like a 27-year-old dude. So yeah, of course, if you want to draw on the Minecraft player base and you're trying to go for a kids movie, like, I'm sure that there are ardent Minecraft players that do have kids, but Jack Black is kind of cringe to most of the population, and while he can go ahead and phone in a voice acting performance here or there, when it comes to his video game fare for every Bowser in the Super Mario's brother movie that he has, he also has Claptrap in Borderlands. So where's this one ultimately going to land? Well, if the reception to the original trailer is anything to go on, not great, and these numbers are definitely gonna drop like a stone heading towards release here in a couple of weeks. Or, because there was another trailer that come out that didn't get near as much attention, mostly because it focused on the things that make Minecraft. Could be enough to lure people to the theater, but that's the problem, man, because it used to be when you were making a big budget Hollywood production out of a chosen IP, it would get butts and seats on the first week. But you take a look now, okay, and especially with the most recent information, you have Novocaine, $8 million leads the lowest grossing weekend of 2025 to date. Yeah, because the box office in 2025, it's suffering, bro. It is very much suffering. Thank God for Snow White next weekend, right? Lol. Who knew that movies controversy would be saying that? Yes. However, the industry should be thankful if a Snow White pulls off the $50 million plus opening, which, hey, it looks very detrimental to Snow White, but is apparently a boon for the Minecraft movie. Interesting. And that's a respectable bump for what's been a barren desert of business right now. Current estimates show that the weekend is in fact the lowest grossing at the domestic box office year to date, with around $54.7 million for all films, lower than Super Bowl weekend at $55.8. Wow. How's that possible during a spring break with kids off? Well, your movies suck. Anyways, we caught Snow White. Yeah, I don't really care about that stuff. I just want to get to the numbers on this one. Okay, Snow White could have moved up to this weekend. Instead, we have this weekend, yes, that appears to be counter-programming in 5 wide entries. And no matter what their exits are, try to get people to go to the movies, even, yes, if it's a novel movie, when there isn't momentum to go. Such as the B Cinema score, 84% positive, 58% definite, a recommended Paramount movie Novocaine is leading with $8.7 million opening and a $3.9 million Friday with previews and a $2.89 million Saturday. Yeah, man, nobody's going to the theaters. That's the thing. And honestly, when you take a look at the best performing films out of this last weekend and knowing that, Snow White's going to need 4,200 screens, like, what are you peeling off here? And how much are you really gaining putting towards a film that is very likely to gain, a nominal amount of money back from anything that's there? Like Mickey 17, the fact that that thing absolutely died at the theater, yeah, it's going to be peeling off a bunch of screens. The same with Captain America Brave New World. It's another Disney production, so yeah, they're just going to be shuffling that off. And Novocaine, like, even though it was the best performing film, okay, $8.7 million on 3,300 screens. Like, bro, nobody's going to the theaters because nobody wants to see what's in there. And you take a look at the rest of the release schedule, and bro, it's terrible. Like, Wolfman died. Love Hurts. I don't even remember that shit. Captain America Brave New World, we already know. There's Snow White right there. And then you got Alto Nights coming out. I think that's another Robert De Niro flick. Nobody's talking about that. Minecraft coming out, yes, next weekend after that. Mickey 17, obviously, that got bumped up. Until Dawn, who cares? Yes, Thunderbolt, that one's going to be hilarious. I wonder where that one's going to end up shaking out. A new Final Destination movie, Lilo and Stitch, that's going to be big. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. That one will be interesting to track, but you take a look at the rest of the stuff, and realistically, man, like How to Train Your Dragon, a live action, that's probably going to do big numbers. 28 years later, great trailer. Don't know if it's going to result in asses in seats, but the triumvirate of Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic Four, that's definitely going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and the rest of this release schedule, like a Naked Gun remake. I know I've gone to bat for that film, very tacitly, because I think Liam Neeson can definitely do some comedy, but it's also being worked on by Josh Gad. But I want to do a little bit more investigation on the Mortal Kombat 2, because we finally seen Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, and looks pretty good. But why would you go to the theaters unless you're really encouraged by the recent track record in Hollywood? And none of this stuff, comes from studios that have really been cooking recently. Like Disney and Pixar with Elio, that might do good. Like I said before, with How to Train Your Dragon, that'll be probably fairly big. But Jurassic World, probably. But Mathregan too, like, get out of here. Freakier Friday, dragging out the corpse of Jamie Lee Curtis, and if you can get Lindsay Lohan off the pipe long enough, that's not a draw. That's a nostalgia bait for somebody of my age. And yo, man, I'm not going down to the theater to check that out. And all of my contemporary females out there, if they can get away from the box wine long enough, they ain't got kids. They got cats that they could take to the theater, and that shit's not happening. A Running Man reboot, and then of course, Avatar 3 at the end of the year. Like, everybody will go and watch it, and it'll make $2 billion, and then nobody will be able to tell you anything that happened in the film a couple of days later. But talking about how to save the movies, at this point in time, I don't even know if you want to save the movies, if we're being completely honest. But lately, this blog has been devoted to the great deal of page inches to raking death cult captured cultural institutions over the coals. What the hell are we doing here, bro? Just talk about the movies here real quick. I want a different perspective on how we can go ahead and fix this beleaguered industry. After all, yeah, we don't see the rats scurry from the ship. They sank to a newly arrived rescue boat for a want of alternatives. Luckily, I spent years immersed in the indie film scene, talking in depth with startup filmmakers at cons and festivals. I've also have considerable online marketing expertise. What is this? Just a resume at this point in time? But the highest hurdle to be surmounted before a movie can be made is money. After studying the situation, convinced that that the money problem can be overcome through a series of strategic choices in genre. Documentaries. Well, yeah, there you got, the behind the scenes of The Last Dance, which was huge in 2020. Let's be completely honest, man. Everything from biopics about tangentially interesting people, they've already been done, or they've just been done so poorly that people are pretty much done with biopics, and everything that's interesting, like, studios refuse to make, or it's already been covered, okay, and it's been released on different platforms. So not sold on the whole documentaries thing. Like, yeah, the fact that we've already got American Murder, Gabby Petito, we've already got something that I remember talking about a couple of years ago, kind of lets you know that we're just completely and totally devoid of creativity. Horror, yeah, okay, you could definitely see that working out, but for as much quality horror that's out there, there's a decent amount of schlock. So is that going to revive an industry, or just kind of maintain the status quo? You got drama, yeah, but that also relies on a bunch of skilled writers, and they are very much not getting the work that is needed in order to recoup any of the damage done to this industry. So honestly, how do we save the movies? At this point in time, man, I think we've come to the conclusion that there's no saving the movies. We just got to simply let them peter out in the way that they are. They aren't going to completely go away. The theaters aren't going to disappear over a weekend. People's tastes change, and the way that they consume their entertainment does as well. We're just going to have to look at cleaning up in the aftermath and potentially start shifting away from these old models, because there was a point in time, man, like it wasn't really that long ago in the grand scheme of things, where everybody would crowd around the radio to listen to the nightly stories. Perhaps film ends up going that exact same way. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.